Last time, we were introduced to the ubiquitous black squirrels of Ontario, or rather melanized eastern grey squirrels with a mutated gene that causes their color. And we saw how once these squirrels appeared, they could start to overrun an ecosystem, so today the question is why? It's obvious strolling through Toronto, black squirrels are everywhere. In a study in Syracuse, New York, 65% of observed squirrels were the melanized variety. But if they're a result of a rare mutated gene, how'd they end up in the clear majority? There have been a few theories and only recently some solid and surprising answers. The simplest explanation is that the gene in question is dominant. That would mean it gets inherited by offspring more often than not. Over time, melanized squirrels would outnumber gray ones. But studies have shown that it's actually incompletely dominant. That means there are technically 3 possible color outcomes, gray, black, or dark brown, and it means gene dominance doesn't explain their numbers. In fact, it gets even crazier. It's estimated that across all eastern gray squirrels, only 1 in 10,000 are melanized. But 65% of squirrels in Syracuse are, and they seem to have a clear majority in Toronto. So they must have some huge advantage, but what is it? For a long time, people thought that melanized squirrels were more aggressive. The idea was melanin has a link to testosterone production that could make melanized squirrels stronger and faster, outcompeting non-melanized squirrels through sheer aggression. But that testosterone link is tenuous, and studies seem to show no behavioral difference between the two colorations. So if melanized squirrels are behaviorally identical to non-melanized squirrels, then what's left? Take a look at this map of squirrel sightings by color. Something probably jumps right out at you. The further north you go, the more likely you are to see melanized squirrels. And what do we know about melanin? As a black pigment, it absorbs almost all light and a lot of heat. Melanized squirrels can generate 11% more body heat and retain it 18% better than gray-colored squirrels, perfect for colder northern climates. Ontario is overrun with melanized squirrels because it's at the northern limit of gray squirrel range, where that extra heat retention tips the scales. So, mystery solved? Not quite, because gray-colored squirrels are still by far more common in rural or wild areas. It's only really in urban settings that melanized squirrels have a big advantage. That can't be explained by heat retention, so what is it about urban environments? In a word, camouflage, but it's more complex than that. In a forest shared with predators, you're better off gray, blending in with the trees. In urban environments, there are far fewer predators, and that camouflage advantage is nullified unless you count these predators. A study on red squirrels in 2021 showed that almost half of all their deaths were by car collisions, so it's a pretty significant factor. The difference is with most predators, you want to be invisible. With these predators, you want to be as visible as possible. A gray squirrel can blend right into the asphalt, but a melanized squirrel is much more likely to be seen and avoided. And if you think that's a little far-fetched, I've got numbers to back it up. A 2019 study showed that in an area where 33% of gray squirrels were melanized, they accounted for only 9% of vehicle deaths. That means they're 10 times less likely to be hit by a car than gray-colored squirrels. So of all the possible reasons why black squirrels might dominate in places like Toronto, it may come down to the simple coincidence of sticking out better against asphalt.